Hey y'all, welcome back to Chat with Coach Amy. Today I'm with a friend of mine, Rachael. So glad that you're here. She is with The Healing Home. Is that right? The Healing
Yes.
Home. Yay! I am coming down here flying by the seat of my pants because Saturday mornings. But shout
Yeah,
out to you for agreeing to do this on a Saturday morning. Thank you so much. I really
of
appreciate it.
course. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for making it work since
Yes. Oh, you're welcome. You're so welcome. All right, Rachael. Also, I've been scared to death that I was going to call you Rochelle today because of the way that your name is spelled. It just says Rochelle to me. My sister-in-law's name is Rochelle. And so I see it's not spelled like yours. But anyhow, I said it right. It's Rachael.
well, everyone's pronounced it a million different ways. I've
Yeah.
been Rochelle, Raquel, and then my
Oh,
last name's
really?
a whole nother thing where people are like Boomsta? Boomsta?
Yeah. The
I'm
last
like,
name, I was just
no.
talking to my blooms. I have a share cast on Marco Polo. And I was like, her name's Rachel, but I am not even going to try to say her last name.
It's Bombsta.
Mom
But
stuff. Well, that's
yes,
exactly what it looks like.
people have, oh my goodness, all sorts of different
That's
spellings
funny.
or
People spell
pronunciations.
my name funny. Amy is just AMY,
Mhm.
just plain old Jane, but I get all kinds of spellings. And people I see like followers and clients named Amy, they have the different spellings, and that's so cool. But I'm like, I'm just plain old AMY. Easy peasy. Well, tell us about yourself, girlfriend.
Well, I'm Rachel. I have the blog healinghome.co and healinghomerecipes.co. We live in the Midwest, Minnesota to be exact, on 40 acres. I have my husband, Danny. He's older than me by quite a few years, so that always sometimes makes people giggle. And we
I love
have,
it.
I keep wanting to say three because it's been three boys for so long, but we just had our fourth boy. So we have
Have four boys.
four
Oh
boys,
my stars.
six and under. Almost, it was almost 5 and under. I was kind of hoping that it would be 5 and under so I could say I have four boys 5 and under because that
Yeah.
sounds ridiculous, but now it's
Yes.
he came a little bit later than he was supposed to, and so it's
Oh.
four boys 6 and under.
Do you mind telling us their first names?
No, of course not. We have Wyatt, who is our 6 year old, and West, our 4 year old, and
Vesta with a T.
with a
Or
T
Vesta with a
direction.
T. Okay.
With the direction, yes. And Wilder, who is one, and he lives up to his name in every way. When he was
I
supposed to
love it.
be Waylon, and
Uh-huh.
I kept telling my husband, I was like, no, I think his name is Wilder. And he was just awful in my belly, just constantly doing somersaults.
Yeah.
And Dan really wanted to name him Waylon. And it was like the last month where I was like, no, this is a Wilder. I know it in the pit of my stomach. He is Wilder. And
Oh
so we
my God.
changed his name to Wilder. And then we have Waylon now, who fits that name very well. And he
He got
is,
it anyway. I love it.
I don't even know how old he is. 6 weeks, I think now.
I love it.
Fourth, I don't know.
We met doing Tipsmiths, I believe, with
Yes.
a little coaching group that we did for a while. And you are a busy, busy woman. And you
Yes.
still amaze me. Like, I mean, I don't talk to you all the time or anything like that, but I see you on Facebook and I just feel like I know everything you're doing. And it's just the most cool things that you do. Like, you're like my little house on the prairie and also extremely techie. And it's just like she's all the things. So there's that.
Oh,
It's just so cool. I just,
I would very much like to be Ma Ingalls when I grow up, but I
yeah.
don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
You're living the dream though. You really are. And I just some of your posts, I think they've just been coming across my news feed more regularly. Thank you, algorithms. But like your scriptures and your I don't know, they just really have blessed me. And I'm like,
Mhm.
it needs to be on the podcast so she can tell other people about this and that they can see and they can be blessed too. Like that's what I wanted. Cause I don't remember what you said, but you were like, what? And I'm like, no, 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 you got to be on it.
Well, praise God. I hope that Jesus comes through everything that, I mean, I know you're the same way. You want Jesus to
Yeah,
come through everything that you do online. And hopefully
yeah,
that is the case with my healing home stuff, is that ultimately it's Jesus coming through.
yeah, yeah. So, why did you start Healing Home?
Well, it's a fun question. So, Healing Home began back in 2018 on a back country road as I was pushing our first child, and there was cows mooing, and it was very picturesque, and it's just burned in my mind. You know, those defining moments of our lives that are burned in our mind. You can even smell it. And I was listening to the Trim Healthy Mama podcast. It was episode 66. So this is like, I think they're
Long
on
time
like,
ago.
yeah, they're on like
4 or 5 years ago.
400 or 500 episodes now. So this
Yeah.
is way, way, way back when. And it was the episode, it was titled something, you have a new title, your name is Healer. And it's just, the whole episode just spoke to me in such a deep way that it was what I knew I wanted to create, something based around this concept of having this healing home. And what you can go back and listen to it if you want to. It's episode 66. And so I'll try to summarize it. But this is really Serene and Pearl who inspired me way back then.
Yeah.
It was Serene who opened her Bible and she read Luke 12:42, and I'll read it now. It says, "And the Lord said, who then is faithful and a wise manager, whom his master will set over his household to give them their portion of food at the proper time? Blessed is that servant whom his master will find so doing when he comes." And that word household in the Greek is therapua, and it's the word that therapeutic comes from. And what's so unique about this word is that it's only used a couple other times in scripture, and every single time it's used, besides this one point in Luke 12:42, is it's referencing Jesus's healing to all those who need healing. And so you end up kind of extrapolating a little loosely here, I think, but basically what that in Luke 12:42, that word household is a healing place or a place of healing. And that it just unraveled to me. I was like, our homes, based on this tiny little passage, are supposed to be homes of healing or places of healing, both, you know, mind, body, and soul, because that's what Jesus healed, right? Is mind, body, and soul. And so our homes are supposed to be this healing place, or healing homes. And Sally Clarkson, she calls it a life-giving home. It's the same type of concept. There's other people that call, you know, mothers the keeper of the home.
Right.
All of those are basically saying the same thing. It's just that this idea of a healing environment spoke to me so deeply. And I set off wanting to figure out how to create this healing atmosphere in our home, even with everything from our words should speak healing over our family, to the environment, something as simple as lighting a candle to make the space healing and inviting, and even, you know, more complicated, like opening our fridge. Is our fridge a healing space, or is it a place that is, you know, destroying our bodies? Like, all of these places and all of these facets of the home can tie into creating this healing home and this healing environment. And I think it's so it's such a key thing, because the home is under attack. Like, everywhere that we look,
for sure,
the home is under attack. Everything from our children's education, regardless of what your model of education is, even if you're, you know, taking a really conservative standpoint and homeschooling your kids, well, even homeschooling has some toxic elements to it. So there's every part of the home, from education to divorces to everything, is under attack, because the home is the place that houses eternal souls. And so we have this environment where these eternal souls are being fought for. And so we as mamas get to be, or as just homemakers, you don't have to be a mama to have this title of healer. But it's our home is where these eternal souls are. So this is a matter of a war, where we're warring for the souls of those who are in our home, whether it's just you and your husband, just you, because you're an eternal soul, if you're just a single lady out there, or if you're a mom with a whole bunch of kids. And it's funny, because so many of the people in the homes want to get away from the homes. Kids, we think back to our childhood, and a lot of times we tried to run away from home, run away from that place that should be healing. Or moms, it's sometimes as simple as running away from home because there's so much, you know, stimuli in the home, and we're like, we just got to get away and go on a Target run.
Yeah.
Well, we're running away from the place that should be healing. Dads, they want to they get home and they immediately want to maybe run away and go play golf, or run away and go hunting with the buddies, whatever the case may be. We're trying to get away sometimes from this place that should be a healing place, and a place where we come and we rejuvenate, and it's a healing place. So that's the long story of kind of
and
my
that was
heart behind
so
Healing
early
Home.
in your motherhood.
It was, yes. And so I do really attribute it
Yeah,
to that podcast, and then
that's
just
amazing.
letting it spiral from there.
Yeah. I have a similar story with the podcast, the potty, and their sister Evangeline, who I've gotten to meet a couple of times. She's Rashida's mom.
Yeah.
And hers, I believe it was a two-part. And at this moment in time, I cannot give you specifics like you just did, but I just remember that moment of just kind of like falling back in love with my motherhood. My story of motherhood has been very treacherous. That's a good word. We've just had so many ups and downs, so many intense moments. I mean, I have a 19-year-old now. I mean, there's just been so much that's happened with the adoptions, with my help, with one of my girls' help. And she just really helped me put things back into place and see the joy of motherhood again, because I had really lost that. And then, moving on to my business, Danny's podcast with What If You Could. I mean, many of you know that story with me, but that's amazing how that is. And I know of other people who that potty has touched in such a deep way. These days people are yang about them with their their squirrels and stuff, but man, it's some good stuff. There still is good gems, and of course they're giving their time freely, which is so sweet. Well, I'm so proud of you for doing that. And I'm a person like you, where if something is blessing me, I got to tell everybody. Y'all all have to know.
Yes.
And I think that's what you do. That's what you do. So what would you say, like lately, even with having your newest little baby, what challenges have you had to overcome to keep that? I'm loving this, like this therapeutic mindset, because it's hard with a newborn and you're tired and everybody needs you all the time, and everything's on fire, and you are the extinguisher. It's heavy. It's so heavy.
Yes. But it is joyful. It's those heavy moments that I'll go two places with this, because this is a great question. There's a book called Redeeming Childbirth. Meadow, Pearl's daughter, recommended it years ago. And it was another one of those things that just is a defining book in my mind. And the author in that book, I recommend it to any pregnant lady out there. Get that book. It's going to revolutionize the way you think of pregnancy. But in it, the author talks about how the curse of Eve. We always think of the curse of Eve like it's the curse of childbirth, and it's the pain of labor. And we always think of it as the isolated thing, just the isolated trying to get the baby out. But the author talks about how, no, it's all of your motherhood that is the curse. But that curse can also be your biggest blessing. And it's because Jesus redeems it. So if you believe in the redemption of Jesus, the biggest curse can be your biggest blessing. And I get chills thinking of it, because motherhood can be such a taxing thing to go through, but it also can be just one of the most sanctifying things. And if you're being sanctified, you are finding the joy of Christ in your sanctification. But a story, because you kind of were asking for the rubber to meet the road. I actually wrote it down to another question that you had posed, and I think that it actually goes really good here. So I'm gonna go with this story. So I am postpartum, so I'm 6 weeks, whatever it is. So my body is definitely not what I would like it to be, but it hasn't been that way for a long time for many reasons. Even though I love Trim Healthy Mama, I'm Trim Healthy forever. But it's just, there's other things happening that, derails our journey, just like, So I'm not loving what I got going on right now, but that's
Right.
okay.
Right.
I've learned to be okay with that. But my middle child, so blonde haired, blue eyes, 4-year-old, most precious thing in the world, but very blunt, which
Mm,
you gotta love those blunt children.
gotta love them.
Um, yeah, you gotta love them. They really speak truth into your life. So he came up to me
Right
about
when you want it too.
yeah, right, right. He came up to me and he gave me this big old hug, and then he took my belly and he squeezed my belly. And as women, if I mean I've talked to so many women about these kind of things, our bellies tend to be a source of insecurity, right? And he squeezed my belly, my postpartum belly, and he said, and I don't think I'll ever forget this. He goes, "Mama, I love your belly. It makes me feel so safe and happy."
Oh,
And then he ran off and he went playing.
oh my
And
word.
and that was it. That's all he wanted to say, and he ran off. And I just stood there for probably 5 minutes, just letting it soak in, because all I felt was disgust, right?
Sure.
Because that's icky to me. All I felt was disgust. But something that I was convicted of when I realized that we're just going to have all these boys was that how I speak, my healing words that I speak
Yeah.
over these boys, that I how I talk about myself is how they are going to form their ideas of what woman is.
Yeah.
And it when he did that and he said, "Your belly makes me feel so safe and happy," I went, "Oh my goodness, all these efforts of me being so careful not to tell them I hate my body, I hate my belly, I hate my arms, I hate all these things that in my head I'm thinking," right? Because we think
Yeah.
these in our head even
Do.
if we don't
Yep.
want to.
Yep. Yep.
All these things that I've tried so hard, and I know I've failed, because we all fail. I've failed over and over again, but God can still redeem our failures.
Yeah.
And it spoke to me in such this road meet the rubber way, where I went, God was just saying, "See, you have made the difference that you want to make. They see what you disdain, they see as beautiful." And isn't that just like Jesus, to redeem
Yes.
something that we hate?
100%. 100%.
So that's just one little story of
That's
motherhood.
amazing.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to forget that probably ever.
No, I won't either. I'll think about it. Every time I see a little boy, probably.
Of course,
Oh
he's
my
not going to
God.
remember it, but I'm going to remember it.
So good. Oh my gosh. They are something. And, I have 3 girls. They're all teenagers now, and I have 2 little
Mm.
boys. And they're all so different. Isn't it amazing
Mhm.
how God
Mhm.
made them? I remember, you're gonna die laughing. So we had Bella. She
Yeah.
was a couple of years old, and I found out I was pregnant with Lily. I was so distraught about this. Okay.
Mm.
It was a surprise pregnancy. I was having a lot of health problems in the emergency room with severe pain in an area of my body that had nothing to do with my uterus. And
Mm.
they come tell me that I'm pregnant. And I'm like, excuse me, no, I
Yeah.
have a pain. I need you to figure out
Yeah.
what's going on here. I can't breathe and all this. And they
Oh.
were like, well, we can't do your imaging because you're pregnant. And I'm like, oh my stars and stripes. So then we had to do something different and la la la. So that was a fun day. But
Mm.
anyway, on through the pregnancy, I was just so distraught. And Wes was like, I do not know how to help you. Like he had tried and tried and tried. So
Mhm.
I went to my pastor, and I finally realized I didn't know, I didn't understand how my 2 children were going to be different. And I didn't understand how I was going to be able to love another child as much as I loved the
Yes.
one I already knew.
Mhm. Mhm.
And he has
Mhm.
4 to 5 children. And he was like, I promise you that you can do this. And here I am with 5 total now, which is quite comical, to be honest. But oh gosh, every now
Oh.
and then, do you and your husband just sit back and say, we have 4 kids? Like
Yes.
it's
Yes.
crazy. I mean, even now, I have a college student, I have now about to have a high school graduate in a few hours.
Mm.
It is wild. It
It
is
is.
wild. And
It
last
is.
night, 2 were missing. They were both spending the night with other people. The oldest one and the youngest one were gone. It was so funny. So we had the middle 3. And I
Oh.
just kept going, like, where are the other, what we're missing? We weren't complete. And it's, oh, oh, it's something. It's a very weird feeling. You're constantly checking, and
Yes.
um I I met a lady, I've known of her for years, but I met her the other night. She has a set of quints, and then they had
Okay.
2 other single births after that. And
Oh
she
my
said,
goodness.
"Girl, the amount of times I've counted to 5 or 7 is insane." And she just graduated her youngest. And so she was like, "If you ever need somebody to take your kids to ball practice, or you need somebody to go to a doctor's appointment, please just let me know, because I'm gonna have all the time in the world." Like, get me back to those little kids. And I feel like I wanted to bring up with you about rushing motherhood, um,
Oh, yes.
because I think that happens a lot. I know that I've been very guilty of that.
Mhm.
As my daughter is graduating a year early from high school today. You know, but rushing that, sometimes, and I just wish I can't wait until, I can't wait. And it's just it's something that I've been very convicted about, in my life. And I wondered if you've experienced that yet.
Absolutely. I actually just wrote a social media post about that
Yeah.
for this upcoming week and scheduled it. It's not just rushed motherhood, it's rushing our kids' childhood too.
Yes, yes,
We
yes,
do it, and you know what, rushness, if rushness produces anxiety in
yes,
us, because it
yes,
does,
yes.
how much more is that producing anxiety in these little
Man,
ones?
that's
It doesn't
good.
even matter. It can be your 19-year-old,
Right. That's right.
and it can be your, your 1-year-old, who I actually was thinking of when I wrote this. It's their brains are still developing, even if they're
Yeah,
19. They've got a
yeah,
few more years still.
yeah,
And how much more um, does that anxiety affect them
yeah,
um, when we're rushing? And what are we rushing to, especially for moms? What are we trying to get to when we're 70 years old?
yeah,
Well, what are we going to do when we're 70 years old? We're
yeah.
going to look back and
Long
go,
for these days.
yes, man, I wish I would have savored these days more. And I wish I would have slowed down. And I wish I would have been late more. I've actually had to flip that switch in my head, because I before motherhood, I was the one that, if you're 5 minutes early, you're on time,
Right.
and if you're on time, you're late.
Yep.
I'm done with that.
Yep. I
I
bet
would
you gotta be
rather
girlfriend. It's
I'm
okay.
done. I'm done. That's a point of growth for me, because now I want to be late more, because most of the time, and that, not that I want to inconvenience other people. That's
I
wrong.
no, I understand. Yes.
But also, it's, let the kids tie their shoes and let them sit there and be in wonder of this little person that God gave you as they're trying to tie their shoes, and let them not feel that anxiety of, come on, we're hurt, we're late, let's get in the car, come on, come on, come on. Let them just be a kid and try to tie their shoes and sip your coffee
Yes.
and enjoy that moment that God gave you, because he didn't give it to you to rush out the door. He gave it
Right.
to you to savor. And
Right.
we can apply that to so many different things in our lives, but
Yes.
it's
That's good.
yes, it's so applicable to me right now with these little ones that are, I constantly want to rush, because they don't want to rush. They don't want to be on time. They got no agenda at all. They just want to play.
Right. Right.
So, especially for moms with littles, take
Yeah.
some time, be late every once in a while. It's okay.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like that is good for everyone in general, because I shared in my podcast last week that this is the only life that I get. This is it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
many people
Mhm.
have an unconscious thought that they can do whatever they want. It's I don't think they realize, like, they're making decisions, and the basis of it is that they can do better next time, but there's not.
Mm-mm. No.
There's not a next time, you know? And that is amazing for me. Wes and I are working on a project, a podcast called Building a Better Marriage. And
Ooh.
so we're working on it, is work in progress, but we have been very convicted after a couple of acquaintances, friends of ours, a spouse passed away. And
Mm,
we were very convicted about wasting time,
mm,
how we can pass, ships passing in the night, that kind
yeah.
of thing. Like, no, we want intentional marriage. We want to enjoy each other. We want to have fun, and with our family as well. But, I think we have that unconscious, and many of you listening right now, I want you to hear it again. You have that unconscious act that you can do this, you have another chance, but we do not. We have to
Mhm,
take every moment for
mhm,
the most that it can be,
mhm.
and For me, it's people pleasing and guilt for not making everybody happy. And I'm not talking about people in my house. Sometimes I do fall into that trap, but I'm learning that my Gaskin 7 are priority. Um,
Yes.
and kindly, everyone else can wait, you know.
Yes.
And taking care of myself is very, very important, but that's not what we're talking about today. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. So I want to switch gears just a little bit. Are
Okay.
you still, I know you're postpartum and you're like, bro, I haven't had a chance to do this in a minute, but are you still like doing, I don't know, every time I see pictures of your home, I'm like, it's so pretty. Please come help me with my house. But like, are you like a repurposer? I feel like you're a DIY person to make your home pretty and calm.
Mhm.
I feel like that's one of your goals in life, but I could be wrong. Like that's
Um,
what I see when I see you.
I love that stuff. I love taking something that I aesthetically don't think is pleasing
Yeah.
and making it into something that I personally
Yeah.
think is, and it doesn't have to be aesthetically pleasing to you. It just has to be aesthetically
Yes.
pleasing to me and my family and
Yes.
functioning for me and my family. I
Yes.
love that. I am finding that the more kids I have
Yeah.
in this stage of life, it's harder to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I was listening to a podcast and they had older teenagers and they were saying the time to do DIY projects is when you have littles because you can put them to bed, nap times, and then do all your DIY projects. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, that is not true. Like, For one thing, my kids don't all take naps at the same
At the
time.
same
My
time,
oldest,
right?
yeah. I don't
Right.
know what these ladies were talking about, but that is not my experience. So I had to like
Oh,
take
that's
their, because there
funny.
was two of them that were going, yes, do it when they're little. So I had to take that. I had to digest it and go, I think you're wrong, and I'm going to be okay with it. I'm not going to
Love
listen
it.
to that piece of advice.
That's
But
funny.
I'm still doing, I still do what I can. I just
Yeah.
don't, I don't
Yeah.
make myself feel guilty about all
No,
the projects I wish that I could do.
sure. I understand. I understand. That's fun though. What would you say is one that you love the most that you still have hanging around?
We did a little coffee nook, and the whole little coffee nook was inspired by my friend who I was at her house sipping coffee. She made me a cappuccino. She made me I'm not going to think of which one it is, but it's in one of the Trim Healthy cookbooks. But she knew that was about
Oh,
something that was important to me. So she specifically
oh,
made me one with like gentle sweet and everything. It was
oh,
so sweet. And she told me the reason why she had that coffee nook was because she wanted people to feel she wanted to encourage hospitality in their
yeah.
house
Amen.
with her kids, and just having that little coffee nook was part of
Yeah.
her hospitality
I love
structure.
that.
And so inspired by her, I had to go do the same thing.
Yeah, of course.
And
I
so,
love that.
yes, I have this little coffee nook that has this repurposed marketplace find that was almost a marital destroyer because I wanted my husband to like saw the legs off, but he didn't like square them perfectly. So then
Oh,
this like little wash table was uneven. And
oh
so then we were
no.
trying to fix it. But you know how those things
I
go. Like
do.
the littlest thing in a marriage can set you
Yeah.
off. And
Yeah.
suddenly you're not talking about the DIY project, you're talking about, you know, something that had happened 2 years ago and you're still bitter about it.
And you're
Somehow
like, I
we got
just want to
there.
foster hospitality in my home,
Yes,
please.
that's all I wanted.
That's all I want.
But that coffee nook is still there, and I love it because it is like when people come over, they're heading toward the little coffee nook and pouring themselves a
Oh
cup
yeah.
of coffee.
Well, that's
It
the
has
first
the
place
little,
I'd go. I'm
yeah,
just
of
gonna say,
course.
I love the coffee.
So it may have almost, paused our marriage for a second. It actually didn't, but
I understand.
that.
Yes.
But it's still one of my favorite little DIYs that we did
That's oh,
together.
I love that. That's darling. I with work has been a lot lately, the past year and a half, 2 years. It's just
Mm-hmm.
and my girls and Wes have really taken up my slack in the home with that
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I still put my boys to bed and make sure all their papers are signed and all that. But and then the girls and I go to lunch and go shopping, so we're all connected. But that part of the making the house look and feel,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've kind of detached from that a little bit in a season. But yesterday I had the day off. My calendar said, take off. Don't you dare schedule anything like on my calendar.
Amen.
I was like, do not. You are not allowed, girl. But anyway, I took some time for myself. I had lunch with my girls, and I repurposed my little corner, cute little thing in the kitchen.
Okay.
And it was really fun. And I took a 2-hour nap. And I don't want to gloat.
Oh,
I'm not bragging. I'm sorry, but like I
sounds
needed it.
heavenly.
I
Oh,
needed it, man. It
absolutely.
was Wes was like, "Did you really just fall asleep?" Like, I'm like, "I did." He was like, "When was the last time you've done that?" And I was like, I needed it so much. But
I'm the same
anyhow,
way.
that's so good. Tell me about your website. Let's do the healing home one, and then we'll talk about the recipes in a little bit.
Yeah.
How does it minister to women?
Um, so because of this is probably way too much for your audience to dive
No, you're
into, but
good. You're good.
for
Good.
those who don't know the loveliness that is having a blog or a business or an online ministry in any capacity, Google is kind of like the thing
Yep.
that you cater to when you have a website, and Google just went cray cray the
Yep.
last few months,
Yep.
not just the last few months, for quite a while. So a lot of my stuff
I'm
is
suffering a
in.
little bit from that, by the way. I might, if you know things, I'll pay you to help me. For
I know
sure.
very. I think everyone is just in like
I think we're all like, "Ah."
it's another like pioneer moment for
Yes.
us. Like they just created an entire new. It's the wild wild west out there again
Yep.
as far as websites go.
Yep.
So everything's kind of shifting a little bit. I'm trying to relearn what audiences want, but healinghome.co is a place where you can go and get hopefully spiritual encouragement. There's articles there about motherhood, about looking up Bible verses, about worry. It's a
Yeah.
resource.
Yeah.
But then also the secondary part of it is printables. So I
Yep.
have
I
a
love them.
significant amount of
Yes, you do.
printables for little kids. So everything from Bible printables. So if you need coloring pages for doing a Jonah Bible lesson,
Yeah.
you can find them there, all the way to like my morning menu printable is more for like an educational supplemental thing that you can do in the morning with your little
Yeah. Do
ones.
you homeschool your boys?
Well, currently, yes.
Okay.
Which is a blast, but there's a lot when you're working too.
Yes.
So I do work inside of the home and outside of the home,
Yeah.
and so then we homeschool too, so it creates quite a lot of unique dynamics.
I
But
bet.
yes, so that's those are the two kind of things right now that is on the healinghome.co is printables. I also have printables for moms too,
Yeah.
like you shared this actually,
I did.
the homemaking planner.
Yes.
There's a free version of that, and then there's a membership version of that, and it's just laid out to just completely help you organize your everything from meal planning to cleaning
Yeah.
to
Tell me
organize.
about your membership. Tell me what's that about?
It's very simple. It's nothing super complicated. It's literally just a way to support what I'm doing and getting more printables out there. And the membership comes with the upgraded versions of the planner. And so you get the digital version, which is designed to be on an iPad or a tablet. So it has like the
Okay.
clickable tabs,
Yeah.
and you can like flip through it in a more dynamic way. And then it also comes with all the upgrades. So like recently I started doing meal planning based on seasons. So you get all those type of upgrades too. So we have a recipe section where you can put all your spring recipes, and then have a shopping list and all those type of things, if that is a way that you meal plan.
Right.
And then it also comes with all the digital versions. The membership does all the digital versions of the Healing Homes magazine, which is a whole nother thing.
Oh, yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so we have
Didn't
the
you
printed.
release that during some of our Tipsmith stuff? If I'm
Yes, that
Oh
it
yeah.
kind of started back then.
Yeah.
So all the digital versions of the Healing Homes magazine, which is a collaborative effort, you're not just getting my stuff, you're getting
Yeah.
encouragement from many
Oh, I
different
love that.
ladies. And you get the digital cookbooks as well in the membership. But the thing that rotates and upgrades consistently every month is the homemaking planner. And then you
Is it
get
all
all.
through email, or do you have like a website with like a
It's
login?
all through email. I've tried doing kind of a portal that hasn't really flown it hasn't been received quite the way that it needs to be received for me to
Yeah.
maintain it. So right now,
Yeah.
everything is
Through email.
through
That's easy.
email.
Yeah.
And then once we get to a certain threshold of membership people, we're going to start doing a monthly video that's just for members.
Oh, man, this was timely. I didn't know any of that. I didn't even know you had a membership. I'm like, wait, how much? What are we doing? What?
It's a newer thing. It's a smaller thing, but it's fun. But I'm hoping to get to that point where we're going to do our monthly video once we meet that threshold, and you get to meet me in the kitchen, and we get to do some fun kitchen stuff.
Yes.
So,
oh, yeah. You're fun in the kitchen, especially when those kids are in there with you.
Yes, I do enjoy having my kids.
Oh man, I love it.
Takes a lot longer, but
I know. I'm like, no, I do all my videos in the kitchen when the boys are at school. I'm not. Oh, my brain, I just can't do it anymore. I'm not that girl. I just know myself. It's just best that way.
Yes. You should know yourself, and you should feel confident in yourself. So,
would you say that your recipes are THM compliant or close?
This is funny because I think I just released my first recipe that might be negotiable on that. Okay. All of them,
and that's fine. I'm not negative Nilly, and I'm just asking a question.
Yeah. I really, so it's my einkorn dinner roll biscuits. Okay. It's the first one on the website if you go there. And I know like Glenda from Around the Family Table, she kind of has decided that certain bread flours, she like literally lumps it in. It is on plan. It's in one of her resource pages. And I know that's like negotiable with other people. So that recipe uses bread flour. And so I think I have like a little note in there that you have to make that decision. Is bread flour on plan for you, or is it a personal choice? And then, but that's the only one that I can think of right now. But all the sourdough recipes are going to be more crossovers, and you really got to know your season in life. And if you want to enjoy them.
It ain't mine. 1,000,000%. No thanks. It's fine.
You have to know your season. You have to know what is freedom and what is
bondage. I can sour some einkorn for some overnight biscuits from Rashida. I can do that. That I can do. But this whole feeding something else, I can't. Oh,
I see what you're saying. Yes.
Nope.
You don't want the little pet in the kitchen that you have to also take care of.
Oh, we have too many things to keep alive here. A sourdough, Precious, is not that. It's not. No. I'm paying my youngest daughter to keep my kefir alive on the counter.
Oh, boy.
Something that takes minutes.
And kefir, I've never been able to like get into. So it's fun because everybody has their own thing.
They do. Well, I have had, I don't know if, I know you probably keep up with my life and that's fine, but I have had a sinus infection for like a year and was on a lot of antibiotics. And then I had surgery. I don't even know when that was, but I had surgery. So I was on 20 days of antibiotics. So the kefir has been very helpful to my gut because it was wrecked.
Are you feeling better?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. Good. It's still like it's sensitive sometimes. And of course the pollen count is like 2 million right now down here in Southwest Mississippi. But I'm not on any allergy medication. I haven't had to use my inhaler. So I am thrilled.
Praise God. I love that. Good.
Yes. All right. We need to wrap it up. What else would you like to share with us?
Man, we just covered a whole bunch of stuff.
I know.
A few minutes. So anything that I was going to mention, we kind of just naturally mentioned anyways.
Good. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be.
Yes. The membership is great. The magazine, I love the magazine. The summer one just came out. I was going to have it here and I forgot it in the other room. Okay. But there's the Healing Homes magazine. The summer edition is I think quite beautiful, and
I'm sure it's amazing. All your stuff is beautiful to me. And that's what catches my eye with your post. I'm like, oh, that's so pretty. Oh, that's Rachael. Of course, it's pretty.
Yes, the magazine has lots of different. It's not just me, so it's women from all over the country, and it's a pleasure and it's an honor to be able to put it together in a content. So. Head over to either of the websites, Healing Home Recipes, if you want to grab some, Trim Healthy Mama recipes or sourdough recipes or whatever. And the healinghome.co has lots of printables and spiritual encouragement.
Yeah. Do you feel like, one last question. Do you feel like women who do not have children in the home would benefit from your page? I do too. Yeah.
I think so. I think that we're all nurturers, whether we have children or not, and you're nurturing something. That I so believe that, because God just put that in our hearts that we have to take care of something, whether it's a plant, whether it's your kids, whether it's a sourdough starter or kefir. We are just, that's just part of what God put in our us to nurture things.
So
And then
we're recording this the day before Mother's Day, and you're going to hear
that's
this the day
true.
after Mother's Day. So I launched a giveaway type thing, or a freebie. It's more of a freebie. My assistant kept saying, "Stop calling this a giveaway because everybody gets it. It's a freebie." I'm like, "Okay, fine, whatever." Me and words, like I'm like, "Oh, it'll be fine. They'll figure it out." But anyway, so it's a freebie of a coffee masterclass that I did to kind of help people with coffee. Oh my gosh, I get so many questions about coffee and THM, but I did it for free for Mother's Day. And I of course said, you do not have to be a mother, like any like mother figure. I don't know how I exactly worded it, but one of my clients who does not have children and will not be able to have children, she sent me a message just thanking me for recognizing her season and her group of people, I guess you will. And she is so precious to me. Oh my gosh, she is one of the most amazing encouragers that I have, and just darling, and has been through so much in her life and still continues to do that for others. It's precious. But she, her and her husband are very involved in their church. They counsel people. They have so many friends, and I don't know. It's just, I just wanted to ask that, since we talked a lot about children, and I just wanted to mention that as well, because I think I have a tender heart that, because of what we've been through with our adoptions, meeting so many women that could not physically and they adopted, or even the birth mothers who placed their children for adoption and maybe did not have other children. I just wanted to be very sensitive to that today. So that even if you're not living out motherhood, maybe your child passed away. That's it hurts. I cannot imagine.
No,
I cannot imagine. But it's a tough time. Mother's Day is a tough time for a lot of people. And I just wanted to.
I've often thought I would be okay if that one just drifted off the calendar, personally, because it's just, it's such a pain point. Even if you are a mother, we have pain points. I don't.
Oh, I know.
To go there,
but you're fine. You're fine. I have, with us, it's our adoption. Our birth mother passed away on May 12th, 8 years ago. And that's what tomorrow is, Mother's Day. Today is Birth Mother's Day. The day before Mother's Day is Birth Mother's Day. It's just really difficult. And my kids keep graduating on Mother's Day weekend. I'm like, you guys, it's just so much. But for me too, I have a lot of regrets, like listening to you and knowing what you do. I just want to say I'm so proud of you, because there are a lot of regrets that I have, and I'm sure you have regrets too. I know
I have so many regrets.
But those negative things creep in, and it is really hard to fight and say no. I love how you said that motherhood is redeeming as well, especially with Jesus in the mix. I mean, it's so beautiful, because kids have such short-term memories, and they are so forgiving. They are so forgiving. And I just think that's a beautiful thing. Do you want to say anything else? Because I could talk forever to you, I think.
I so enjoy talking to you. It's such a joy. I can't think of anything that I really want to say besides that. If you're listening to this, just know that you are loved, and you can bring healing into your environment, whether or not you have 10 children, no children, a husband, whatever your environment is. You deserve to bring some healing into your area.
Y'all deserve that.
Yes.
And we pray that y'all have felt the love of Jesus today, because I sure have. This has been so good. Thank you so much, girl. I appreciate it. You want to tell them bye?
Bye now.
Bye, y'all.